Hello, this is Taylor with Music Shop 360. Today for our tutorial, we will be reviewing how to create users and user groups within the Music Shop 360 system. This function is really critical to the different types of employees you have, whether it's administrators, cashiers, your accountant, really any different kind of employee category is probably needs to have some different settings set up as far as accessibility and things that they can do within the system. And so these tools that we're going to go over today are meant to address that need. Now, the place that you would go in to adjust those or create the users and the user groups, that can all be found right here. So if you want to go ahead and click into the user icon, and then you'll drop down to the users button. What you'll see here is you'll see kind of two options. You'll see a users option as well as a groups option. Now, the way that this works, and not to get too technical here, but essentially what we're going to be doing is we will go in and we will create user groups. There we will go ahead and define the permissions of that group, and then we will go in and attribute users to those specific groups. So you can have users that pertain to multiple groups. You can have as many groups as you want. As you can see, or as you will see when we get in here, it's really pretty flexible as far as the different authorizations or accessibility options that you want to give to your employees. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and create a new group today. As we get logged in to this test account, you can see we have an administrators group. Let's say that we wanted to set up a group just unique for our cashiers only, so our customer-facing people who are working with customers, on a daily basis. So we'll go and we'll generate a new group here. We'll title it. We'll call this our cashiers. And then one of the very first things that you'll notice here is there's going to be different sections here. Each one of these you can kind of break down or expand, I should say, and then you'll have different options made available to you as far as what you want to give them access to. So that's kind of one of the first things I'd suggest is take a look at those, gather some kind of idea as far as what you want these groups to have as you're getting these set up. And then when you come in to do it, it'll be really straightforward for you. So for our cashiers, you can see we've got some general permissions here. So being able to interact with the website, keying on the socials that you have set up, your mobile settings, general settings, creating users. So a variety of things or components of the system that you can give access to right away. What I really like, though, is these little breakdowns here. So for our cashiers, in this case, there probably wouldn't be a big need for our cashiers to be able to go in and add and create products or update inventory. But certainly those are options that you can enable. We do also, one that's probably going to be a little bit more applicable here is under the point of sale. So for example, we want to give our cashiers the ability to apply a discount, or maybe they are able to go in and refund transactions, and maybe we'll also let them see the default product costs here. Okay, so this is just an example. You don't have to do this, but just for our purposes today, I'm just going to select a few random ones here. Then it goes down into reporting. Again, for our cashiers, they probably don't need to see any of our reporting, I guess, unless it would be like an end-of-day manager or something along those lines. But you can really, again, decide for your store what's going to be appropriate. So our cashiers, I'm going to leave all these blank. But again, if you go in and let's just say you checked low inventory, when your cashiers were logged into the system and they pulled up the reporting functionality, the only one they would have access to would be, in this case, the low inventory report. Okay, so again, it can get pretty restrictive and makes it nice. Now, the customer page, for example, do I want my cashiers to be able to edit general information about the customer, view the customer page, edit account balances? Probably not for my cashiers. They're really not going to be involved in my purchase orders or my receiving orders, so I would likely leave these unchecked. And maybe they're probably not going to function with our work orders either, so I could leave those unchecked. But again, this is all up to you. You can decide what you want to do here. Okay, now these are all point of sale functionality. So this is them actually working in the system there locally. You'll have all those options. This next section is website specific. Okay, so if I want them to be able to access the website and edit certain pages, but not other pages. Maybe I don't want them touching my rentals, but they could go in and they could work with all my shopping pages. Again, that's going to be left up to you to decide what you want to do there. Okay, so we've got this one set up pretty well. One other thing I wanted to point out here is for stores with multiple locations, especially on the reporting side, this is pretty critical. You can say, hey, look, I want, in this case, my cashiers to see the low inventory report, but I only want them to see it at our primary location. I don't want them seeing what's going on, at our location across town or what have you. So again, you can break that down by location if you'd like to do that. Okay, like I said, we've got the cashier set up pretty well here. So I'll just come down here. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And then what we'll do next is we will then want to go ahead and create a user. And I'll show you how we then associate the user with the different groups. It's really, really straightforward. So again, we'll come in here, click into users. Click into users again. I've got a slew of current active users. Let me hop in here first. So I'll just pull myself up here. You can see there's my contact information, my login information. I can force a password change or make a password change for an employee here. I can have a recovery email. I can also require a PIN number. And what this is in the till or in the register, in the point of sale, before this employee were to be able to do anything, they would have to input a PIN number if I established one here. So this is a really good way to have controls and kind of a paper trail on what your employees are doing, and I'll keep them accountable. Totally optional. You don't have to use it. Or we have stores that are very, very adamant that every employee use a PIN. So just really up to you to decide what you want to do here. But this is where you would actually pertain them to specific groups. So like I said, you can see there's our cashier group we just created. I could have Taylor belong to either one of these or one or the other. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so they can have different roles and accessibility within the system itself. When you're setting up a new user, again, you would just input any of this information here, and then you would have the user set up. In fact, I can kind of take you through that as well. So all we would do is we would just hit this new user button. Again, complete the appropriate information. I can set a password for them, set up a recovery email, and then just go ahead and pertain them to the group. So really, really straightforward, but it's something that you will be utilizing and your employees will be utilizing on a daily basis. And so it's really important to go in and get the permission set up. Kind of a best practice here is we do have stores that will go in and they will set up kind of general permissions. See how they work, make sure it's not really interrupting process flow, and then go back in and adjust from there. So these are always editable. You can always go in and change them. So don't feel like, okay, hey, I've got one shot at this. This is, again, something you can always go in and modify. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to us. You can contact support at 385-404-6200, but it's a pretty easy to use component of the system there. Thank you.